The answer may surprise you, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, I want to introduce to you a concept that I learned from this book right here, The Fourth Turning, and also from Tony Robbins. So both Neil Howe and Tony Robbins talk about how time and progress really isn't linear at all. And if you look at history overall, if you look at a person's life, time is not linear. In fact, it is actually cyclical. So in other words, there's different patterns, there's different seasons, and they actually mirror the real seasons that we have in the world. So we have spring, summer, fall, and winter. And if you look at your own life, if you look at history, then they follow those patterns. And so in this video, I want to help you determine, again, which season you are in, because even this morning I was talking to one of my clients, and it was very apparent that in these last few months, she was in fact in winter. And so in other words, her business wasn't growing, she wasn't producing as much content, and so she was really beating herself up for it. But I told her, I was like, listen, you have to realize that you're no longer in winter. You are now in spring. And so in the springtime, you want to, yes, carry on the lessons that you learned from being in winter, but you want to, move forward because it's a new season. And I was telling her that because us content creators and entrepreneurs, we tend to, really hold on to things, to not let go of the past. But when you see that, okay, time isn't linear, it's okay that maybe my business or my content creation wasn't going as well as I wanted to these past few months, then you can really step into the next phase with confidence and certainty, with knowing where you are. And so in this video, I want to help you know which one you're in. So I'm going to walk you through all of the 4 seasons. So the first one obviously is spring. As I'm going through this, try to determine which one you are in. So spring is the time, let's think of the seasons. When it's springtime, like the flowers are blossoming, you're planting new seeds, and there's this new sense of freshness, of creation. There's growth, there's learning, everything seems new. And actually my client this morning, it was obvious that she was at this stage because she recently moved, there's new beginnings, like she even cleaned up her work area. And so that's why I was telling her, be excited, you have spring ahead, you have summer ahead, and the fall, which are beautiful seasons. And so are you in spring? Is now a time for you of new creation, of growth, of learning, planting new seeds. It's cool because in the springtime, those seeds which were dormant before, they actually start to blossom. So even in the springtime, you don't necessarily need to plant seeds in order for things to grow. There's already seeds planted and they start to grow. So it's cool because whatever you planted in the previous summer or fall, they can actually start to bloom now in the spring. The next season is the summertime. And this is where there is lots of activity. There is a lot of discovery. There's a lot of testing. And eventually in the summer, you will hit a peak. And so as a content creator or as a business owner, this is where you hit a high point. Maybe you get a bunch of sales, maybe you get a bunch of views, maybe one of your platforms really starts to take off. Maybe that leads to new opportunities, maybe new speaking gigs, maybe new collaborations. And so the summertime, again, is a time of a lot of activity, peak performance. And so if you are at this point in your content creation business, then let me know down below. I actually want to hear where everyone's at. But the next season is obviously the fall. And the fall is where a lot of reaping happens. And there's also a lot of unwinding. And so this is also the time of letting go of things that no longer serve us, because we want to prepare for the next season ahead, which is winter. And so again, if you are someone who's in fall, don't fret, don't be like super scared of, oh, what's gonna happen? Even Tony Robbins was saying that, in the fall time, in the winter time, there are people who freak out, they panic, but there's also people who, they make a leaf pile, they have fun. In the winter, they build an igloo, they have a snowball fight, they go skiing, snowboarding. So you could really make the most of any season. And in fact, a lot of content creators and entrepreneurs, they actually got their initial traction, they built their initial foundation during those colder months. So while everyone else was panicking, they were building the foundations for what was to come next. And so that actually leads me into winter. And so for winter, this is where it's really like when the life outside dies down. And this is where things become dormant. So things become dormant. And also this is where you can set the foundation for what's to come next, which is, of course, spring. And so again, if you are someone in winter, just know that spring is coming. I know that again, a lot of content creators and entrepreneurs, they really beat themselves up because they think like, oh, like I'm on a downward spiral, because they have that mentality that time is linear. But when you start to see that there's seasons, there's patterns, then in those moments you could not fret. And I actually recently came out of winter myself. I went through a cyber attack with my business, some other things as well, and some family things. And then long story short, I wasn't making as much money. I wasn't making as much content. I was still doing really well, but I knew, I was like, okay, I'm in winter, and I just surrendered to it. I was like, I'm not gonna let this get to me, and I completely surrendered. And when that happened, and I let go of trying to control everything, that's when I relaxed, that's when I took a step back, took a deep breath, and then before I knew it, like the springtime happened. And so my business and my content creation platform, it is in spring. And it's really in alignment because right now we're in spring in the actual seasons. But yeah, I wanna know, which season are you in for your content creation business and just with what you're doing overall with your brand? Let me know down below. And again, just be really honest with yourself. Be very honest. And like the actual seasons, it doesn't need to like last super long. You know how sometimes we have like really short winters? And so that's the cool thing, is even if you're in winter, it can go by really fast. But surrender to it, and trust me, you will know when you hit spring. Because when you hit spring, it's like this new sense of freshness, of creation, and you'll know because you're gonna feel super excited to create content. It'll just pour out of you like water. And I even remember like maybe 2-3 months ago, it was so hard for me to create content because I had all these other things going on. But it was okay because I didn't beat myself up for it, and you really don't want to hold yourself to that standard of perfection. You don't want to be perfect, but you just want to show up as your best with your current situation, with what you know now. And I think that's what a lot of people really hang on to, is just being perfect. Like, oh, I need the perfect lighting, the perfect editing. Like, no, like even look at me, like my hand's kind of shaking, I'm moving around a bit, and that's fine. Don't focus on the production quality, focus in the value on what you're saying. Even if only 5 people watch your videos, show up as being your best for those people who show up. And I'm telling you, you will get so much more personal fulfillment from that. If many of you don't know, if some of you are new to this channel, I recently did a partnership with Kajabi, and I was helping their client base with their YouTube channels and with their business. And it just really blew my mind that some of these YouTubers had such big audiences, but they weren't fully tapping into their income potential because, they were just focused on the number of views, but that's not proportional with how much money that you make. And so, again, I tell you this just so that you know that if you focus on value, regardless of which season you're in, and you focus on being your best, then you can really make the most of it. Think of all the seasons. Isn't there always something fun to do for every season? Like, fall, you get to build leaf piles, like they also have like a certain vibe and energy to it. And so again, like get metaphorical here. I find that your metaphors, your words really create your reality. And so when you tap into that and you're in a certain season, then again, that can really help you to make the most of it. So yeah, let me see if any of you have any questions. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, everyone, let me know, even if you're watching the replay, which season you're in, because I'd really like to hear from all of you. But yeah, if you're someone who would like to learn more about how I can help you to make the most of your YouTube and to turn it into a profitable business, I am someone who makes over 5 figures a month using this platform because I go above and beyond just these videos. I have products and services to help people beyond just videos, and I help other people to do the same. And so, for example, I helped one client in the travel niche. And in 3 weeks with her YouTube platform, she had 15K subscribers. She made $10,000, and that's the power in this all. $10,000. And even if you were only relying on AdSense, however many views she got, I mean, the ad platforms wouldn't pay you nearly as much. They don't pay you livable income. And so that's why I love the YouTube platform. It's just a powerful vehicle for reaching out to more people, spreading your message, growing your business. So if you would like more information on how I can help you with that, there is a link down below and you can learn more about how I can help you. You can apply to work with me. So yeah, everyone, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions about that, let me know. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will see you for the next one. I do plan to go live every day. I'm doing like a 2-week challenge where I'm going live all the time. So feel free to tune in tomorrow for the next live. Bye everyone.